Hey folks, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at the Bestech TOUCAN. Not very many reviews of this guy out there, but there's a few to be had. We've got a unique blade shape, some unique kind of, well, not unique, but not too common grinding done on it. We've got titanium nitride coating on it. I just learned, I don't know why it took me forever to learn this, that's a form of ceramic that they use on this, the coating on this. Pocket clip is right side. Lanyard hole extension on the small back spacer there, liner lock knife, and even a little bit of a forward grip right on the blade there. So if you're interested in the TOUCAN, and it does come in, just regular satin steel as well. You don't have to get it with a coating, and it comes with some other colors with G10 and quite an interesting little knife. So stick around for this video, and there might not be very much again till Tuesday. Well, that little mayhem that you saw at the end there, that was because my dog heard the doorbell, and it was the postal lady. And this package came with CBSA tape on there, and so I had to pay a bill to get this box. But there's nothing taken out of it because I bet you it's fixed blades, because I only order fixed blades to be mailed directly to me here in Canada. But since I got some fixed blades, they didn't like that idea at all. They had to charge me some money so I could get my fixed blade knives from China. And that's the law, so I'm not going to complain about that. That's just the way it is. But for us right now, we're going to take a look at this. And maybe I'll have time to record an unboxing this weekend. And so you'll still get your little fill of some more videos instead of getting a whole lot less than you're used to getting from me. So let's get to the tabletop and take a good look at this knife. My brain just went blank. What's the name of this knife again? This is the grab my notes. TOUCAN. Because they don't put the name TOUCAN on here. All they do is put their logo Bestech there and say D2 here. The TOUCAN coming at you right now. So this is a TOUCAN. I'll show you a picture of a real TOUCAN. They look a little bit different one from another, don't they? But I really do like when companies actually name their knives instead of just giving them numbers. So I really like that. So Bestech, I've been really liking what Bestech has been doing lately. Of course, I'd love to be reviewing their titanium knives, the pricier stuff. But there's two things going on. This channel is dedicated to showing budget knives. And the other thing is I don't have enough money to buy the costlier ones. Those of you who don't know, I live on a disability pension, and I do this Canadian Cutting Edge YouTube channel mainly to, keep myself sane, to pass the time, and to help people who are on a tight budget find good quality knives. Bestech's G10 line, so they're knives that have G10 handle scales, sometimes some other materials, and not very costly blades, but still very good quality blades. I love to review those kinds of things. So this knife is D2 steel with a titanium nitride coating. Like I said in the intro, that's a form of ceramic. We've got a nice belly here and a very slight recurve right here. We've got it's hard to show it on here. Let me see if I got something to show you. I'll just use a pen tip and I'll zoom in a little bit. With this coating on here, it's hard to see, but there is a line from this transition point going across right up to there. A straight line where the grind changes. If you look at the cutting edge here, so if we're looking at not the cutting edge, if you're looking at the spine of the blade, you can see it's starting to get thinner right there all the way to the edge. Well, if you take the knife and you just look at this section, it's going down towards the cutting edge on an angle. So it's staying thick here and coming thin. But up here, it's coming thin on the spine and on the cutting edge. And so it's on two angles coming down. So the main grind of the knife changes right here. I think you can see it a little bit better. If I move the light back and forth, you may or may not be able to see it, but there's a line right there, a transition line where it starts coming thinner. It goes thinner this way and thinner this way. And that's kind of cool. And so then we've got your regular flat grind here. I'm going to call this a full flat grind, although technically it's a saber grind because the grind doesn't come right to the spine, but it's such a high grind. I'm going to call it the equivalent of a full flat grind. Very nice. You've got this hole in the blade here, and then this milled out section looks really nice, quite functional. You can put your thumb in there and deploy the blade that way if you want to. That works just fine. And some guys can put their fingers underneath there and flick the blade out. And with this specific knife, oh, I almost got it that time. I find it a whole lot harder. Yeah, I'm not going to waste too much time. Hurts my finger. So the detent is very good on this knife. It just sucks the blade in. There you go. And that makes it that much harder to flick back out. And when you're using the flipper, it holds and then comes flying out with authority. You can use the light switch method, pulling straight back. And because the pivot point and the tip of the flipper are in line, it's hard to do the push button method. You do have to push back on an angle to get it to come flying open that way. So it's a version of the push button method you can use to deploy the blade, or of course using that hole. Some people will be able to do it underneath. Some people just use your thumb that way. And it works fine with either hand. Right or left-handed, I'm pretty good with this. It's got a liner lock, and let's take a look at it right here. Actually, I'm going to come a little closer, aren't I? Lockup is exactly where I want a brand new knife to be. So this side of the blade and that far side of the liner line up. That's what I like on a brand new knife. And then it gives time for this liner to wear all the way across over the course of the life of the knife. It gives you a lot of nice years. You've got 3 little jumps on the flipper tab, which acts as a guard when it's deployed. Very secure in hand that way. I really like that. And then you've got choil, 2-finger choil, and another choil back here. And surprisingly, it's very comfortable. When I first looked at it, and I looked at it in the online catalog at Bestech.com, I thought it might not be very comfortable in hand, but I was so intrigued by the blade. And I had to get this, even though I would have preferred a satin blade. This was the only toucan that they had left in stock. But this handle, you've got this nice milling on the G10 here. It's very comfortable in hand. Even the reverse grip feels quite good. You put your hand over, but your thumb might get a little tired right there because we've got this lanyard hole on this backspacer extension. There's another thing that I really like about this, and that is this becomes a bit of a less than lethal persuader. So you have that in hand, and you've got a hard point that's fairly small, to push on something, to put pressure on somebody somewhere to get them to do what you want them to do, if that's required. I like it when there's some less than lethal option on a knife. It's also a good hole to put a lanyard on if you want to. You've got this jimping on here, and I like that it's got a space between. Gives it design as well as functionality for a little bit of grip. Nice small spacer. Let me show you pictures of the inside so you can see the skeletonizing. So there you can see the ball bearings and everything, the detent ball, everything's wonderful in there. Pocket clip, it's milled into the G10 right there, so it sits in there with those 2 screws. That's plenty. I like how it's a nice smaller pocket clip. Very secure. You've got about 2 centimeters, about 3/4 of an inch sticking out of your pants when you put it in your pocket. Let's take a look at that. Oh, there we go. I was holding it upside down. So you saw how easily that slid on, but it holds quite well. And this is a situation where I like this titanium nitride coating because it helps it just to hide in your pocket, just sort of blends in a little bit. And very functional, not hard to grab and pull back out of your pocket and use and, put into your pocket. It just works. I don't like huge pocket clips, so I really like these clips that I've seen lately from Bestech for that. So we've got a nice drop point, semi-tanto, belly recurve, finger choil. Excellent. I've got the dimensions ready, and I forgot to translate all the numbers to imperial. So I've got it in centimeters, but I'll put inches on the screen. The cutting edge measured diagonally from the tip to right here at this choil, 9 centimeters. And the blade length from the tip of the blade to the closest point on the handle, 9 centimeters. The blade thickness, 3.6 millimeters. The blade depth, right there at that transition point, 2.9 centimeters. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, 0.47 millimeters. Excellent, excellent. Grind angle, oh, that's on another piece of paper. That's on the screen, but the handle length is 12.3 centimeters. The grip area in here, so where my pen tip is to my thumbnail, that's 10 centimeters. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, is 1.56 centimeters. And the handle depth, and I measured at the biggest spot right here, is 3 centimeters. And when you close the knife, it's a millimeter more, 3.1 centimeters. Total length of this knife with the blade deployed is 21.3 centimeters. It's right around 8 inches plus a tiny bit, I think. The weight of this knife is 150 grams, 5.25 ounces. Excellent, excellent. I don't mind that weight at all for what you get. The balance point on this knife, and I've been forgetting to do the balance point on some videos of some of my knives, is right where that finger choil is. Beautiful. And the cost for this knife, that's on the screen too. That's on a different piece of paper. In my rush, because my grandkids are coming, I'm not totally organized, but I do love this knife. Fit and finish is excellent. I love the fit and finish. I have to be totally honest with you. Some of the coating on the liner here, right by the liner lock, very tiny bit of it was chipped off when it got to me. Not a big deal at all. That's just part and parcel of what it does. I did cut apart a bunch of cardboard. That didn't scratch the titanium coating, the titanium nitride coating. I'm not too fond for these coatings. Those of you guys who are, you can get this. Those of you who are not, there's other options that are excellent. I'll give some links down below where you can buy these knives. I've got links for Amazon. If you use the Amazon links, I do get a little bit of a commission. And if you use my other links, hey, the person you bought it from, the company you bought it from gets your thanks. So there you go. Those are the options. The same Bestech prices are pretty much the same everywhere because that's what Bestech likes. Fit and finish I talked about. Unique. Yeah, it's kind of unique. This little bit, tiny bit of a recurve. Chances are quite high if people aren't very careful when they're sharpening, you're going to smooth that out and just turn that into a smooth transition instead of having it be a sharp transition point. I can see that happening very, very easily because it's not that big of a transition right there. Very comfortable in hand. The G10 is milled very well. You've got the edges are all chamfered. There's no sharp G10 points. The pocket clip is not hot in the hand, at least not in mine. Very comfortable. Some people might not like it being over 5 ounces. I don't care. It's nice. I don't mind 5 ounces at all. And most guys don't mind that weight either. Most regular guys. Some reviewers hate it, but reviewers are sometimes strange birds. Yes, I said that about myself. Love this extra piece back here from the lanyard extension for the hole here, the backspacer extension. I really like how they did that. Excellent choice there, guys. And it's very, very nice. One thing that is maybe a little bit of a con, maybe not, maybe you just love it that way. You've got this jimping on the spine of the blade. Let's bring it nice and close here. So you can see that jimping right there. It's very obvious. But this coating gives it a sort of soft feel. So it's not an aggressive jimping at all. It's a very soft jimping. It's effectively, it's not there. That's my personal opinion. This section here that doesn't have jimping, gives me, I got just as much grip doing that kind of work there, especially if I sneak up, put my thumb up there, solid grip, and no more solid here than it is up here. That jimping just doesn't make that big of a difference. But it's not a problem. Who cares? It's not a big deal at all. I just wanted to let you know of that fact. On the blade, the writing, it says D2 right there and Bestech there. And the rest is all nice and plain. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Whoever designed this for Bestech, I don't know if they've got a team that does the designing. They don't really name who their designers are. Maybe on their higher end knives, I really don't know if they work with known designers for those. But I really think they should start giving credit to some designers, because a knife like this deserves to have a name attached to it. It's a really nice knife. The Bestech knives that have this, well, some people think it's a number 8. Other people think it's a B for Bestech. That tells you that it's a captured pivot pin. And so you just need to unscrew it from here to take it apart. So the 2 body screws back here and that screw, and it comes apart. And so if you really do need to take it all apart to clean it, that's relatively easy. And lubricate the knife. It came very well oiled from the factory. You do have to be a little careful when knives are very well oiled, that if you do get oil into, let me go like this, here we go, so that we can, if you do get oil into that lock face, and you can see right there where the lock face, where the steel on the lock arm and the back of the blade there come together, if you get oil on there, you can sometimes get blade stick. And so the blade sticks, or lock stick. Some people call it blade stick, some people call it lock stick. I don't know if there's a right word for it. Just so you know what I'm talking about. It can be a little hard to unlock the knife if oil gets in there. Yes, oil is a lubricant and it can make it sticky. It's just the way physics works sometimes, because it creates sort of an adhesion. So if that's happening to you, right here, wipe that all the way out as best you can. Open and close the knife a few times and wipe it down again. You do that 3 or 4 times, and if you still have the problem, then take it all the way apart and dry all the oil off of it. And then very carefully lubricate just where the ball bearings are and a tiny, tiny bit where the detent ball is, and should be good to go. Use a nice light oil. So if you're in Canada and you want to buy this knife from me, go ahead and email me. If you're from outside of Canada, go ahead and email me, but I might make you wait a week, and if nobody else buys it, then I'll sell it to you. I do charge a fair price for these. I don't just give them away for free, because I do need the funds to buy more knives. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And yes, you'll get my very nice sharpening job too. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.